What's good, everybody? It's your boy Todd Smith here once again with my tag team partner Dale Clifford from out there in Fernley, Nevada. Yet another episode of No Gimmicks Podcast. This week, we're actually discussing NXT, WWE's developmental territory from down there in Orlando Park in Florida. So, Dale, we had Mojo Rawley taking on Samoa Joe from this past week. Mojo actually had the nerve to go head-to-head with Samoa Joe. No pun intended. This dude actually gave Samoa Joe a headbutt, something that is considered a huge no-no in the world of professional wrestling. But he actually didn't wind up too bad on the short end of things until later on in the match when Joe actually wound up taking him out with his coquina clutch.
You know, it was a pretty good effort from Mojo to try to get a little bit of payback on Samoa Joe for the kind of beatdown interruption that Samoa Joe had on him last week. And Mojo was just looking for a little bit of a redemption. Obviously, we kind of know which direction. Easy to tell that Samoa Joe was going to go over in this. But definitely a good sign forward that NXT was willing to put Mojo in a match with Samoa Joe. That's still kind of, even though he lost, still has to go for something. Where he is in the eyes of the company as we go forward. But yeah, definitely looking forward to, as we get it now, Samoa Joe versus Nakamura. And back to Brooklyn for the NXT Championship. Definitely looking forward to that match. And I do believe we will have a new champion when that match is all said and done.
I'm feeling the same way as well. Mojo basically was just cannon fodder for Samoa Joe, who's on his blitzkrieg currently on the path to Nakamura. And now that Mojo is actually up there on the SmackDown brand tagging up with Zack Ryder, I don't think we're really going to see a whole lot of him down there on NXT that much anymore. But yeah, as you were saying, you know, there was an exchange between Samoa Joe and Nakamura. Joe is kind of interesting because you don't quite see this very often, where you have the heel being held back by all the security guards and whatnot, and you actually see the face, who in this case is Nakamura, kind of taunting him quite a bit. You know, he even slapped him across the face. That was a bit surprising to me. What was your takeaway from that, Dale?
Yeah, they're trying to find a way to get the interesting characteristics that make Nakamura so unique out in some of these situations. I think it was a little bit why we were seeing him in some of the lesser matches too, because he didn't have to be so physical in those. He could show off some of the what makes him so unique with the finger waving and the crotch chopping and all of that kind of stuff like that. So I just think that's a little bit of what you saw here, and one of the things where Nakamura could just be a little bit odd.
Yeah, some mind games getting in Joe's head a little bit. Yep. You can almost kind of say that Nakamura is almost like the Dennis Rodman of NXT. You know, that was something that he was always good about, you know, back there in his heyday when he was playing on the Bulls and those teams back in the day when Dennis was, you know, still heavily prominent in the league back then. But yeah, definitely Nakamura is he's out there. Like I said, he's different. He's not someone who everyone's gonna like. He's not gonna have the popular opinion. He's got kind of a polarizing opinion to him, because there's one of those things where you either love him or you hate him. You know, the majority of the fans in NXT absolutely love him, but as you know, there are some people, including those who we actually used to work with here on the No Games podcast, who weren't very big fans of Nakamura. But one thing is for sure, that this is going to be one hell of a match between these two coming up here at NXT Takeover back to Brooklyn. And I'm on the same page as you. I just don't see Joe retaining the title. I think Nakamura, it's his time, and it's his time right now. I think they need to put the strap on him.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate for Samoa Joe, as he seems like he's just a transitional champion, as they like to say, between Finn Balor to Shinsuke Nakamura. Unfortunately for Samoa, I just think that's where he got put in the middle there. But to no fault of his, though, is that he still put on some solid matches with Finn. He'll put on a solid match here with Nakamura, and I don't think this will be the only one between these two.
No.
Joe obviously should get a rematch if he loses and a chance to get back at it again. So definitely, I think we'll see these two go at it not once but twice, maybe even a third time. Also, Speaking of a second time, it will be we had the contract signing between Asuka and Bayley for their rematch for the NXT Women's Championship at Back to Brooklyn. And definitely think this one will be a pretty good match. And I think this will be the match that sets the tone for the Women's Championship matches of the WWE weekend, to where Sasha and Charlotte will have something to try to compete in better at SummerSlam. This one I definitely think will set the tone. Now, who wins? I don't know. I think Asuka's going to retain, as I don't think Bayley is destined to be a two-time women's champion. I think she's kind of just going to be down there on NXT to be a solid competitor, but I don't know if she's going to be the champion again.
I kind of agree with you on that. I think, basically she's there almost to kind of fill a roster spot, just because the women's division of NXT got absolutely gutted during the WWE draft. Like I said, it's basically now Asuka and Bayley, and basically women who either were former enhancement talents, the ones who participated in Tough Enough, or the unknown. Now, one of the unknowns who's going to be making her debut here pretty soon, I finally got to see some footage of Ember Moon. Ember Moon, formerly known as Athena out there in the indie circuit, she is impressive, okay? I have seen some things out of her, including that front flip forearm, which she uses, also a diving rolling cutter from the top ropes, which is her finisher, and looks really cool, by the way. So there's some more competition on its way for whomever of these two competitors winds up walking out with the title at the end of NXT, back to Brooklyn there. I'm not sure if Bayley can possibly walk away with this one. But one thing is for sure, I'm glad that she's showing her more aggressive side. We're getting to see a more aggressive and feisty side of Bayley that we really had not seen displayed over there on the NXT roster. So it's good nonetheless to see her get this opportunity. Moving on, though. Speaking of aggression, and speaking of two guys who are just flat-out monsters, let's talk about the Authors of Pain. So the Authors of Pain, who have still not yet officially been referred to by name on television, Jism Samani and Sonny Denza are the two gentlemen who are out there portraying the Authors of Pain, being led to the ring by Paul Ellering. And they absolutely destroyed two jobbers. I can't quite remember these guys' names, but after the conclusion of the match, TM61, up-and-coming tag team, Shane Thorn, and can't quite remember the other guy's name. Is it Nick Miller, I believe his name is?
Yeah, it's Thorn and Miller.
It's Thorn and Miller. They came out to make the save, but not quite to any avail. Am I correct there, Dale?
Yeah, no, they failed pretty bad in an attempt to try to get to the Authors of Pain. And these two just continue to work their way through the NXT Tag Team division. I'm assuming, though, this will probably set up some type of match between Authors of Pain and TM61, which unfortunately I don't think is going to work out too well for TM61. I think Authors of Pain are moving in the right direction. They're this super power team on the NXT Tag Team division, so it will definitely be interesting to see if they move into a title picture anytime soon, and if they do, will it be against Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, or the current champions, the Revival? I think if it's going to be the Authors of Pain, I think it's going to have to be against Gargano and Ciampa.
That's what we want to think. But oh my goodness, I would love to see that match there between the Authors of Pain and the Revival. Now you talk about a smash mouth match, man. Like I said, it just amazes me because I've been watching wrestling for so long, since about 1986 at this point, which is well over 30 years. And there's really, not much to where I could say, oh my goodness, I've never seen that done before. That tag team move that those guys used out there on the two jobbers, where they both had them picked up in the powerbomb position, and then they rammed the two guys into each other, and then they powerbombed them, that's something I've never seen done. Now, I know basically it's the same effect as a powerbomb, but I've never seen that added touch done on that move. Have you?
No, it was a pretty unique little twist to essentially two power bombs. Just nice little tap and powerbomb touch there. Just something different.
Yeah. Like I said, it's great when you can take, something that is as simplistic as like a power bomb, and then you basically just put that little touch of your own onto it just to kind of make it even more devastating. Speaking of Gargano and Ciampa, so Gargano and Ciampa this week had Tucker Knight and Patrick Clark of Tough Enough fame, and they came out with the win in this match here using that double, it's like a knee strike super kick combination that they got going, which I absolutely love to see them execute. Then we found out that Gargano and Ciampa are going to be facing off against one another for the NXT Championship coming up at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. What's your thoughts on that, Dale?
Well, no, they're not facing one another. They're getting the revival at the back to Brooklyn. They face off at one another at the Cruiserweight Classic.
Oh, is that what I said? I meant to say, that they were facing off against the revival. That's totally what I meant to say. That was my bad there.
Oh, it's all good. It's like slip of the tongue. Yeah, definitely.
Michael Cole moment.
Michael Cole-itis. It's all right. So we got the revival against Gargano and Ciampa at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. You know what? I just think this is going to be hands down another solid NXT Tag Team title match from the NXT brand. I think every single NXT title match that they have put out has delivered, and I would expect this match to do the exact same thing.
Hands down. Yeah, this one, maybe this is where my head was. I'm trying to provide some redemption for myself here. After seeing the incredible contest between Gargano and Ciampa recently at the Cruiserweight Classic, we know how passionate these two guys are, and we know how much both of them can just absolutely flat out perform out there in the ring. If they will do that much to destroy one another, just imagine what they're going to actually do when they put their talents together to go after a common enemy. Am I not right?
Absolutely agree. I do, and I want to say that they're going to become the new NXT Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, they're hot. Those guys are hot right now.
But you know what? Obviously wouldn't be surprised if the Revival retains. They are the first two-time NXT Tag Team Champions. So definitely huge match in the tag team division. A couple other big matches that were made for NXT Brooklyn. We have Bobby Roode making his debut match against Andrade Cien Almas, who was in a match against Angelo Dawkins, and won with a new finisher, a modified DDT.
Which I like.
Yeah.
I like it. You like it?
And it is different. Better than the other one that he had.
The knees, yeah.
I still hope to. Well, yeah, because now the knees set up this DDT, which I think it is a little bit more fitting.
I just wish they would get that guy some new ring entrance gear. That's all I have to say. He's got the look, he's got the athleticism, the size, the speed, but my goodness, why is it that guy comes out dressed up like Marcus Bagwell circa 1994 when he was part of the American Males? Well, that's the only question I have, okay? And he borrowed the Godfather's pimp hat from him. I just don't understand how that ties into what he's supposed to be or what he's supposed to be portraying at all. But, I mean, yeah, the guy definitely could get it done in the ring. Like I said, the next step, the progression, we got to see the double knees. Now this new modified hammerlock DVT that he's using. Then he goes up and delivers that sweet double moonsault that he does. That would be the capper. If he would finish off opponents with that, maybe after hitting them with the DDT and the knee strike, in the corner. Because the first time he nailed that, I was just like, wow, that was really cool. You almost kind of get the feeling that he had missed the moonsault, but he's really just setting it up just for the extra attempt once he hits the mat.
Yeah,
that's some pretty cool stuff.
That was
there.
A double moonsault there, but again, I think that only happened because the guy rolled out of the way. But it's the added thing of he can instantly go right back into the second one, even though he rolled out of the way of the first one. So it'll be now. Will his match with Bobby Roode at NXT Brooklyn be glorious for Bobby Roode, or will
it will be,
or will Cien get the victory? Interesting here because Cien's kind of one of the young up and comers against the big time Bobby Roode signing talent. So you kind of assume that Bobby Roode's going to get the win when with him being the big time money talent.
Roode must go over here. Roode must go over. There's no way he doesn't go over. Basically, they've got to make this to where both opponents come out looking strong. CN's got to have a solid performance out there, and he's got to be able to hang with the vet. And Roode has to go over in this match. There's no two ways about it.
You're not really picking it up here, but I definitely have a brawl between my two dogs going on behind me. So I have to apologize a little bit about some of the sound that's coming over my microphone. Boo Boo and Pumbaa are going at NXT Brooklyn a little early here.
Yeah, so we got NXT Takeover Bats of Fernley. Is that what we got going on?
Pretty much.
Oh boy. Tell them to leave it for the pay-per-view, Dale.
I'm trying to leave it for the pay-per-view, but they're not having none of it.
Yeah.
I think they're a little hungry, so they're now trying to eat each other.
So the dynamic that we have with Andrade Cien Almas and Roode coming up here in NXT back to Brooklyn is kind of a similar dynamic with the other match that I wanted to get out here before we conclude our discussion. We got Austin Aries and No Way Jose announced for NXT Brooklyn. They have built this feud up just a little bit. They kind of had the falling out after they had the little, shindig where they were kind of out there dancing together and, they were bugging, they were taking it all around the arena, and then, Austin stabbed him in the back. You weren't really too big of a fan of this guy when he debuted. I've been a fan of him since day one. Like I said, the guy's energy is just infectious. I think, it's amazing that he could do all that dancing and all that gyrating and everything and not get blown up while actually performing out there in the ring. And Austin Aries that guy is just a whiz. He can do some of everything out there in the ring. I think he's going to actually carry him to something pretty decent here at NXT back to Brooklyn. Your thoughts on that, Dale?
We kind of expected Aries and No Way Jose to come at the pay-per-view. Looking forward to this one. I don't hate No Way Jose as much as I did originally. I kind of thought he was just a slight modification of the Adam Rose party gimmick, but it's completely it's different though now. He doesn't have all of the party goers going with him. He's a one man fiesta. But to have the greatest man alive, Austin Aries on back to Brooklyn in this match will be good. I think Austin will help No Way Jose break out a little bit. You kind of see some of what No Way Jose can do. We know what Austin Aries can do. Well traveled. I'm gonna again though. He's the big time money free agent. No Way Jose's the up and comer. I think just like Bobby Roode against CN, Austin Aries is gonna go over in this one now.
Once again, I will stay for the jury. Get this guy, and when I say this guy, I'm referring to No Way Jose, some new ring gear. It just makes me laugh because every time I see this guy, and I pointed out this one to you guys in our little text message discussion that we have going on with our buddies Matt Vichinsky and my boy Khalil Smith, this guy looks like Jeffrey, the wrestler character from Virtua Fighter 2. That's who he resembles, that and a hospital orderly. If this guy is supposed to be such a colorful, flamboyant, energetic character, add some color scheme to him. Because he's basically wearing the same exact stuff as he was prior when he was Levi's Valenzuela Jr. Before he got the gimmick changed to No Way Jose. Just give him something to where he doesn't look so sterile. Kind of add some color to his his outfit that he wears in the ring. That's my only complaint, because other than that, like I said, the guy has got the charisma and he's got the size, because that guy's huge. That's the other thing that we don't take into consideration here. That dude's about 6'6",
He's a big boy compared to Austin Aries for sure.
Yeah, with the afro, he's probably about closer to about 6'9", So yeah.
One last note, a guy that we haven't really seen in a little bit, and we were kind of wondering where he had disappeared to, was Elias Sampson.
Yes. Where's our drifter drifted off to, Dale?
Yeah, you kind of informed me a little bit about what happened to him.
Yeah, our drifter, Mr. Elias Sampson, has a fractured ankle. So that explains his sudden disappearance from TV, because that guy was getting a lot of screen time. He was out there literally every single week. And then all of a sudden, no explanation. He just kind of went up in smoke. And he's scheduled to miss a decent amount of time until he's able to recover from his ankle injury there.
Is he doing any drifting with a broken foot?
I hope not. Let's just put it that way, okay? I'm hoping that this guy could take this injury and turn a negative into a positive, because, like I said, I think the guy actually has a couple of tools that can actually, help him have a successful wrestling career. You know, you were the one who alluded to this. He kind of reminds of a couple people. You had said the late Macho Man Randy Savage, am I correct? And Damian Sandow, I believe it was?
Yes.
I had actually said Macho Man as well.
Yeah, I just thought when he was using the elbow drop that he reminded me of Macho Man, and he even kind of looked a little bit like him with the with the longer hair and the goatee.
It's uncanny. He actually does have a strong resemblance to Macho Man. Like I said, for me, it was him in Rockabilly circa, or Billy Gunn circa the Rockabilly era, when he actually had that short-lived gimmick before he became a member of the New Age Outlaws and skyrocketed to success. But yeah, I'm hoping that when he returns, they give him a different gimmick, because that gimmick was just not going to get him anywhere. I think this guy is better than that. He's one of those people who was being held over or held back by kind of a a silly gimmick, and I think if they give him something decent to work with, he could probably actually be more of a factor there on the NXT roster. So yeah, definitely some good stuff to look forward to here. Next weekend is going to be just loaded with what's very, very solid wrestling action from the WWE. This pretty much caps up our discussion here for the NXT developmental territory for the WWE. So I continue to encourage people to tune into our podcast weekly, check out our YouTube page, and subscribe to us. Also, like us on Facebook, check us out at the No Gimmicks PC on Twitter, and check out my LinkedIn page over the course of the week. Now that we'll be posting content not only on Mondays but daily, I'll be posting up my links on there to share with everyone who's interested in checking out our podcast. But for my tag team partner, Dale Clifford out there in Fernley, Nevada, and myself, Todd Smith, here in Bristol, Connecticut, thanks for tuning in to this episode of No Games Podcast discussing the NXT brand. Until next time around, y'all take care.